Alright everybody, you're back here at the Goblin Garage, and what we're going to do is we're doing a front and rear brake job on this Dodge Durango, and we're going to give you a little insight in what it takes to do a brake job and the kind of tools you need, and believe me, it's not fun. I could lose an eye. So this is your first basics. Obviously you got to take the lug nuts off for the layman's. Got to take all the lug nuts off. You got to take that big old heavy tire off. My back will pay the price. Nothing a 6-pack or a 12-pack won't cure after hours. Here we go, folks.
Alcohol abuse is not okayed by the show sponsors.
Here I come, NASCAR.
Now that our racer has lost the race in the pits.
And we're now in 43rd instead of when we were in the lead. So basically what we got here is these are your studs for your lug nuts for your vehicle. This is your rotor that we're going to replace because of the rust. And the minimum thickness we've already checked and done on the other side. And then you got to take the caliper off and the pads and all the goodies.
Now the rotor, is that what they mean when they tell you, oh, your rotor's chewed up? What is that they're talking about?
This is your rotor, or like if you take it to a shop and they tell you you've got some pedal pulsation, you push on the brake and you can feel it, kind of moving inside your feet, and you can feel it in the steering wheel. What happens is this rolls just as straight as your wheel does. And when you get pedal pulsation, this rotor is warped and or out of round.
Okay.
Now, sometimes you can turn them. In this case, they're not turnable. They're below minimum thickness. So we're just going to go ahead and replace them with all new goodies.
Okay. Less chit-chat, more work.
Okay. We're back here getting ready to take the stuff all apart, put all new goodies on there for this lady. She's going to love us. She's just going to be in love with us. She might actually even go as far as to leave her husband. And that's what I'm here for, folks. I'm here to take your wives. I'm just kidding.
So, if a man leaves his wife, you're here for him too?
Yeah, probably not. But when we cut, what we found is someone had maybe possibly done a brake job on this a while ago and either dropped or lost the bolts. And one of the bolts is a Torx, which is a special tool, and the other one is an actual Allen head. So we have to get the proper tools, which majority of the time your average home do-it-yourselfer is just not going to have an Allen head and or a Torx.
So that's going to, let's say this is a job we can do at home. If I run into that, I mean, I'm looking at some serious problems. How easy was it to take off? Were they tight?
They're very tight, very, very tight, and as you can see, they're completely filled with rust. So you take the chance of more than likely you're not going to have the proper tools. You're going to strip out the head of the bolt, especially if you don't have the proper one. And next thing you know, you're going to have to go down to your local parts store, and you're going to have to tell them, I need an Allen head to take this bolt out, and I need a Torx. And the first thing they're going to do is ask you what size you need, and you're going to go, I don't know.
So you're risking a lot more expense, is that it?
You really are, and with today's gas prices, you don't want to be running to the parts store 4 or 5 times. So you just take it to your local Goblin Garage. I'm here for you. So
it's eco-concern is where we're looking at now, isn't it?
Yeah, you're wasting gas when the soccer mom could be saving it for the 30 soccer trips for the kids and the neighbor kids, and it could be used more wisely than trying to figure out how to go down to your local parts store and tell them what size you need when you probably don't know.
You're a giver.
I am a giver.
So when we get back, we'll show the parts of exactly what's taken off here, and the caliper, the pads, and the rotor when it's off of the wheel, and I'll give you an idea of what is what by name.
Yes, we will.
All right.
We'll be right back. Okay, so here we are with the caliper off, and broke the rust free off the rotor so we can get your rotor off. you have to undo this, which is, it's not fun, and then the caliper will kind of only lock in one way. So basically what we do is just take this off with the pads, set it aside, and then this is of course your rotor. We just kind of take that off. This is your hub and stud and lug stud, and this is the rotor that we're going to replace for the rust, and it's below minimum thickness. Okay, so here's our nice new shiny rotor. Here's our new pads. I've already greased and the sliders, or what they call sliders, and we're right now going to install the caliper for y'all, which is not fun by any means. Basically, and it just sits in here, and it's got this tab. And it just basically looks like that. And then we've got our bolts, which are mixed matched, which we need to reinstall. And in this case, we've already checked it from the other side, and some vehicles could go as far as needing a new caliper. This one does not.
So how much money does that save if I don't need a new caliper?
It could save a good couple $100 to $200–300 easily if these calipers needed to be replaced. You could be looking at a brand new rotor and pads and calipers for the front, which you have to bleed. You could be looking at $700–800 just for the fronts. That doesn't include the backs or anything. Strictly just for the fronts, which it's not cheap, and as you see, it's not a fun job to do.
How often should somebody change their brakes?
Well, that's a good question there.
Thank you.
That all depends on the driver.
When the chips are down, I come up with the good questions.
And he does. And he's making me think, folks. And you know what? My head's starting to smoke. I've only got like one good cell left. So we need to get him to calm down on the questions, because, I can only do one or two things at a time. But very good question. It really all depends on the driver. Now, in theory, I don't want to offend anyone, but you ladies out there, you tend to ride the brakes a little bit more than the average man.
Remember, ladies, he's single.
So, I do get a lot of my brake jobs from the women customers. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. The family, the kids appreciate it very much. Tonight we're eating lobster, thanks to you.
Okay.
And this is a woman.
Back to your happy place.
Basically, it really depends on the person. You got a lot of your older people, they're a little unsure. They tend to keep one foot on the brakes while they're driving down the road, which is not really a bad thing. But when you apply a little bit of brake pressure while you're driving down the road via freeway or the city road, you're applying brakes to this, which they're going to just wear out quicker. If you're, the person that uses the least amount of brakes are the people, which I don't highly recommend, are the people that drive with their gas and brake with their right foot. The gas pedal and the brake they use for the same foot. They tend to stay back a little further, give themselves more stopping time, so they're least likely to use up the brakes. I'm a right foot gas pedal, left foot brake. I go through them every 2 to 4 years, depending on, if I'm racing or if I'm chasing a couple of hot ladies driving down the road. But on average, probably about 2 to 4 years.
So pretty much this is something that we're pretty much done, other than putting the tire on. So what is it we should tell the customers here that have been watching this? How are they going to make sure they don't get ripped off? What do they look for when they're maybe looking to go to a shop to have service done?
Well, the main thing is, a majority of your cars nowadays, they have on your front